Hi, I'm Brad Rey from Zonte's Footstep here at the Wine Society to introduce Honey Sublime. So originally Canadian by birth, I got involved with one of the first private wine boutiques or wine shops in Alberta. And part of that deal was we used to have to import wines that weren't carried by our government liquor stores. After doing that for about 4 or 5 years, I used to bring in wines from Oregon that were made by Brian Crozer. And with our relationship, he suggested that I studied winemaking. So I came over to Australia and went back and worked in Oregon and Alsace for a few years, also a stint down in Spain. And in 1995, I got a phone call to come down and work at Weir Vineyards. And from there, the path was laid. Yeah, so Zonte's Footstep, we started in 2003. And like most people that you meet in the wine industry, we always think that we've learned what we need to learn and we're able to go out and venture on our own. So a group of us, industry stalwarts, I guess, got together and formed a bit of a group to buy a vineyard down in Langhorne Creek. Lo and behold, 14 years later, here we are, and we're still sort of pushing the boundaries about trying to give people access to turn to different varieties or wine styles and look at the real truth about what wine's about. And to me, that's really the vineyard and fruit source that we have, and really trying to minimize how much winemaking artifact we use. The Adelaide Hills really has been put on the map thanks to Sean Smith, one of the most recognized Sauvignon Blanc producers from the Adelaide Hills. But the history goes back a lot further than that. The vineyard that we actually get this fruit from was actually planted by the Seppelt family in 1980. And it's one of the oldest Sauvignon Blanc vineyards in the Adelaide Hills. So for me, it's really trying to source and search out what I would refer to as those Burgundian varieties and those styles, and produce wines that are not only food friendly, but also balanced by Mother Nature. I was pretty honored when I was approached to actually make this wine for you guys. To me, Sauvignon Blanc really is made in a vineyard and not really in the winery. So to me, it's a very minimal impact of the winemaking process. I make sure that we actually get a lot of complexity out of our vineyard by actually picking the fruit at different varying scales of ripeness. Sort of going back to that experience I had working in the Loire Valley, where we actually use some of that neutral grape juice at an earlier ripening stage to reacidify the wine and give it more complexity and hopefully bring out a bit of minerality from what we have in our soils. And really, it's about getting flavor balance and acid. You know, to me, Sauvignon Blanc is a Moorish wine. We have everybody in Australia drinking New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc for good reason, but what I think is what we grow in our backyard is just as good, if not better, and a new experience for everybody to try. The one thing we do differently with this is we use a bit of that whole fume technique that a lot of the older consumers would remember back in the days. Fume is where I actually use a small portion of this wine in some older seasoned wood to help round out the palate and give some complexity and depth to that lovely balance of fruit and floral characteristics we get out of our vineyard. It should appeal to everybody. I mean, that's one of the ethos that we are about at Zonte's, is actually trying to make wines that are approachable and drinkable to almost anybody in the marketplace. I want you to be able to come and try the wines that we make and appreciate the value that we have with the fruit that we offer in the bottle and not have to actually dig deeper into it. It's understanding what the actual grape varieties have to offer. What can I say? To me, it's Adelaide Hills Sauv Blanc. You got to drink that with Coffin Bay oysters. Well, I had an opportunity working consulting in Spain a few years ago where I ended up going to El Bulli and having lunch just before they closed. And one of the best experiences of that was I was with other industry friends of mine from around different areas in the world that were making wine, and having their take on what they thought was new and intriguing and special about the wines from the areas that they were working in.
Thanks for watching this video. It means a lot to us here at the Wine Society. If you'd like to stay close and keep up to date on all things wine, please subscribe to our YouTube channel by clicking on the button in the wine glass or the red button down below the video. We'd love to share more with you.